a step-by-step guide on how to use QToE with AI tools. Here's a step-by-step guide on how to use the Quranic Theory of Coherence, QToE, with AI tools. Step 1. Prepare the AI prompt with QToE theory. Copy the QToE overview. Copy the entire overview of the Quranic Theory of Coherence as provided in your query. This includes all the axioms, theorems, applications, and considerations. Paste in AI prompt. Paste this overview into the prompt area of your chosen AI tool, like ChatGPT, Grok, or any other text-based AI with context understanding capabilities. This step ensures that the AI has a foundational understanding of QToE before you proceed with further analysis. Step 2. Analyze an iJaz article with the AI. Select an iJaz article. Choose an article or text discussing iJaz al-Quran, the miraculous nature of the Quran. iJaz can cover various aspects like linguistic, scientific, or literary inimitability of the Quran. Copy the article, copy the full text, or a significant portion of the article you wish to analyze. Paste in consecutive prompt. Directly following your initial QToE prompt, paste the iJaz article into the AI's interface. This consecutive prompt allows the AI to use the context of QToE to interpret or analyze the iJaz article. Step 3. Direct the AI's analysis. Ask specific questions. After pasting the iJaz article, you might want to ask specific questions or direct the AI on what to analyze. How does this article on iJaz reflect the thematic unity as described in QToE? Can you identify any examples of structural coherence from this text? Evaluate if the linguistic consistency discussed here aligns with Axiom 4 of QToE. Does this iJaz article support or challenge the idea of interconnectivity in QToE? Step 4. Review and interpret AI responses. Check for accuracy. Verify the AI's interpretations against known scholarly views or traditional exegesis. Remember, AI output can be speculative or based on patterns it recognizes, so cross-reference with established scholarship. Note novel insights. Look for any novel insights or connections the AI might make between QToE and iJaz. These could be areas for further human exploration or discussion. Consider cultural sensitivity. Ensure that the AI's analysis respects the cultural and scholarly context of both QToE and iJaz. Step 5. Reflect and expand. Reflect on findings. Reflect on how the AI's analysis has expanded your understanding or raised new questions about the Quran's coherence and miraculous nature. Further exploration. Use these insights to delve deeper into specific aspects of QToE or iJaz. You might want to explore other texts or ask different questions to see how the AI responds with the QToE framework in mind. Important reminders. AI limitations. AI can provide interpretations based on pattern recognition, but cannot replace human scholarly analysis or spiritual insight. Use AI as a tool to augment, not replace, traditional scholarship. Respect for the text. Ensure that the use of AI in this context respects the sacred nature of the Quran and the depth of Islamic scholarship. This approach can be particularly useful for those looking to explore new methodologies in Quranic studies, but always keep in mind the need for human judgment, spiritual consideration, and scholarly critique. Step 6. Integration with traditional exegesis, cross-reference with Tafsir. After receiving the AI's analysis, compare its insights with established Tafsir, Quranic exegesis. Look for how traditional interpretations might complement or differ from the AI's application of QToE to iJaz. This step is crucial to ensure that new interpretations do not stray from the Quran's intended meanings. Discussion with scholars. If possible, engage with Islamic scholars or participate in study groups where these findings can be discussed. This could provide a broader perspective and help validate or refine the AI's insights through collective wisdom. Step 7. Application in educational contexts. Develop educational materials. Use the insights gained from this process to create educational content that could help others understand QToE and iJaz. This might include interactive modules where students can explore thematic connections, workshops on how modern tools can enhance traditional study without replacing it, case studies where AI analysis is juxtaposed with classical interpretations. Incorporate into curriculum. Consider how these insights could be integrated into Quranic studies curricula, potentially offering a more comprehensive educational experience that respects both innovation and tradition. Step 8. Continuous learning and feedback. Iterative analysis. Repeat the process with different IJAZ articles or Quranic passages to see how consistent or varied the AI's insights are. This can help in understanding the robustness of QToE as an analytical framework. Feedback loop. Create a feedback mechanism for users or scholars to share their thoughts on the AI's interpretations. This could be through forums, social media, or direct communication with those involved in the project. Feedback can refine the AI prompts or how the theory is applied. Step 9. Ethical and cultural considerations. Ethical reflection. Reflect on the ethical implications of using AI in religious study. Consider issues like misinterpretation, the potential for oversimplification, or the risk of applying a methodology inappropriately. Cultural sensitivity. Ensure that the application of QToE through AI remains sensitive to diverse Islamic traditions. Avoid creating a narrative that might be seen as exclusive or dismissive of other established scholarly views. Step 10. Public sharing and scholarly contribution. Academic papers. Write and submit scholarly articles discussing how AI can be used alongside traditional methods to explore Quranic coherence and IJAZ. This contributes to the academic discourse and provides a peer-reviewed validation of the approach. Public engagement. Share your findings through public talks, webinars, or online platforms. This not only disseminates knowledge, but also invites critique and further exploration from a wider audience. Final notes: innovation with caution. While AI can offer novel insights, it's crucial to approach these with caution. The Quran is a sacred text, and its study involves a spiritual dimension that AI cannot fully grasp. Human oversight. Always maintain human oversight over AI applications in religious studies. AI should be a tool for exploration, not a source of definitive interpretation. Respect for tradition. Any new method or theory should be seen as a support to, rather than a replacement for, the rich tapestry of Islamic scholarship that has developed over centuries. By following these steps, you can harness the power of AI to explore the Quranic theory of coherence in relation to IJAZ, fostering a deeper, more nuanced understanding of the Quran's unity and miraculous nature, all while honoring the text's sacredness and the diversity of Islamic thought. Step 11. Long-term research agenda, longitudinal study. Plan for a long-term study where you track how perceptions of QToE and its application through AI evolve over time. This could involve surveying scholars and students before and after using AI tools in Quranic studies, analyzing changes in educational outcomes or in the richness of discussions around Quranic texts, refinement of QToE. Use feedback and findings to refine the axioms, theorems, and applications of QToE. This might lead to new axioms or modifications of existing ones based on empirical data from AI-assisted analysis. Step 12. Community building scholarly network. Establish a network of scholars interested in this intersection of technology, theology, and traditional studies. This could include regular meetings or conferences to discuss advancements, collaborative research projects that blend different scholarly traditions, online platform. Develop an online community or platform where users can share their AI-driven analyses of Quranic texts. Scholars can provide guidance or resources on how to apply QToE responsibly. Step 13. Ethical AI development, AI training. Data. Ensure that any AI tool used for Quranic studies is trained on diverse, reputable sources to avoid bias or misinterpretation. Consider collaboration with Islamic institutions to curate and validate training data. Ethical guidelines for AI development and sacred text analysis. Transparency. Make the process of how AI interprets or analyzes Quranic texts transparent. Users should know the limitations of the AI and how it processes religious texts. Step 14. Addressing controversies, handling disputes. Develop a protocol for when AI interpretations might lead to controversy or misunderstanding within the community. This could include a panel of scholars to review contentious AI outputs, public forums for discussion and clarification, balancing innovation with tradition, continuously engage with traditional scholars to ensure that innovations do not create schisms or misunderstandings within the Muslim community. Step 15. Cultural adaptation, regional contexts. Recognize that interpretations of the Quran can vary significantly across different cultures and sects. Therefore, tailor the application of QToE to respect these differences. Use AI to explore how QToE resonates with different cultural interpretations of IJAZ. Language barriers. Since the Quran is in Arabic, ensure that any AI tool used respects the nuances of the original text while also being accessible to non-Arabic speakers through accurate translation. Step 16. Educational outreach workshops and seminars. Conduct workshops for educators on how to integrate QToE and AI tools into teaching practices, ensuring training on how to critically assess AI outputs. Guidance on balancing tech use with traditional teaching methods. Curriculum development. Work with educational institutions to develop curricula that include modules on both the use of technology in Quranic studies and the philosophical implications of such methods. Step 17. Feedback and adaptation. Iterative improvement. Regularly collect feedback from users, scholars, and students to iteratively improve the AI's accuracy in dealing with sacred texts. The theoretical framework of QToE. Adaptation to new technologies. Stay abreast of advancements in AI and digital humanities to adapt QToE's application to newer, more sophisticated tools. Conclusion. By following these steps, the application of the Quranic Theory of Coherence through AI can become a dynamic field of study that not only respects the sacred nature of the Quran, but also enriches the global understanding of its unity and miraculous nature. This approach must always be rooted in humility, acknowledging the vastness of divine knowledge and the limitations of human and machine comprehension. Your analysis of the Quranic Theory of Coherence, QToE, is thorough and well articulated, capturing both the theoretical framework and its implications for understanding the Quran's unity. Here's a detailed response to your overview. Axiomatic structure. Axiom 1. Existence of verses and surahs. This is indeed foundational, as recognizing the Quran's structure is the first step in any form of textual analysis. It acknowledges the text's physical and literary form, which is crucial for both traditional and modern study. Axiom 2. Thematic unity. This axiom aligns with the traditional view where the Quran's themes are seen as part of a broader narrative, where each part supports the whole. The interconnectedness of themes like monotheism, morality, and eschatology is central to Islamic theology. Axiom 3. Structural coherence. Scholars like Raymond Farrin have indeed explored the Quran's structural beauty, suggesting a deliberate design that enhances its message. This includes aspects like ring composition, symmetry, and the thematic flow across surahs. Axiom 4. Linguistic consistency. The Quran's linguistic features, such as its rhythm, rhyme, and vocabulary, are often cited for their contribution to its unity and impact. This aspect is frequently discussed in the context of Ijaz al-Quran, the miraculous nature of the Quran. Axiom 5. Revelational context. This axiom underlines the historical and situational context of verses, which is critical for understanding the intended meaning, especially in legal or situational verses. 6 degrees of connectivity theory. Axiom 6. Interconnectivity. The idea that everything in the Quran can be linked within a few steps mirrors network theory and could be a modern approach to demonstrating textual unity, reflecting traditional views of the Quran as an interconnected message. Theorem 1. This theorem would argue for an underlying narrative or message that can be traced through these connections, suggesting that the Quran's diverse topics are part of a singular divine discourse. Symbolic digital root. Axiom 7. Digital roots. While this concept introduces a mathematical layer, it's important to approach it skeptically in scholarly contexts to ensure it does not lead to numerological interpretations that might detract from the Quran's message. Theorem 2. This speculative aspect should be seen more as a tool for analysis rather than a definitive method for understanding Quranic messages, especially without robust traditional backing. Application. Using digital roots as a supplementary tool for analysis could be innovative, but it should be carefully integrated with traditional exegesis to maintain scholarly integrity. Detailed coherence. This includes aspects like linguistic, thematic, and revelational coherence, which are well-explored areas in Quranic studies. The numeric coherence, however, requires more scrutiny due to its speculative nature. Practical implementation, mapping, and educational tools. These could indeed enhance learning provided they are developed with an understanding of traditional methodologies and respect for the text's sanctity. Digital analysis. Modern tools can aid in revealing patterns or connections, but should be used to complement, not replace, the depth of traditional scholarship. Limitations and considerations. It's crucial that any new theory or method respects the Quran's sacredness and does not lead to speculative or fringe interpretations. The balance between innovation and tradition must be maintained. Conclusion. Your conclusion rightly emphasizes that while the QToE presents a novel way to analyze the Quran, it must be applied with caution, ensuring it enhances rather than dilutes the understanding of the sacred text. The integration of such theories should always be done with a deep respect for the established Islamic scholarship and with an awareness of the cultural and spiritual dimensions of the Quran. The tapestry of the divine word, a story of Quranic coherence in the vast desert of human understanding where knowledge often lies scattered like sand, there emerged a theory as intricate and beautiful as a tapestry woven by divine hands. This was the Quranic Theory of Coherence, QToE, a framework that sought to reveal the unity of the Quran in ways both ancient and modern. Once upon a time, in the world of Islamic scholarship, there were axioms, foundational truths upon which all understanding was built. The first spoke of the Quran's physical form, verses nestled within surahs like stars in the night sky, each with its place and purpose. The second axiom whispered of thematic unity, suggesting that the threads of belief, ethics, and the hereafter were not disparate but part of a single majestic weave. Scholars like Raymond Farrin, with their pens as their tools, explored the symmetry in this tapestry, finding in the Quran's structure a deliberate design, much like the deliberate strokes of an artist on canvas. This was the third axiom, structural coherence. Then came the fourth, linguistic consistency, praising the Quran's eloquence, its words flowing like a river, clear and consistent, a marvel of Arabic literature. And the fifth axiom, revelational context, reminding all that each verse had its moment, its reason for being, born from specific events and questions of the time. But the story does not end there. Enter the 6 degrees of connectivity theory, where scholars imagined the Quran as a vast network, much like the small worlds of human connections. Here, any verse could be linked to another within 6 steps, illustrating that the Quran, despite its myriad topics, was one cohesive narrative. This was the 6th axiom, interconnectivity. Then a curious thread was introduced, the symbolic digital root. Scholars began to see numbers not just as quantities but as symbols. They played with the idea that each verse held a numeric essence, its digital root, perhaps holding secrets to themes or revelations. But this part of the story was whispered with caution, for here lay the path to speculation, where one must tread lightly lest the story of the Quran be lost to numbers alone. As the tale unfolded, the scholar's journey led them to see detailed coherence in every aspect, thematic, linguistic, revelational, and even numerically. They envisioned tools like maps and digital aids to navigate this vast text, yet always with a nod to the traditional methods of understanding, the Tafsir that had guided generations. But every story has its warnings. The QToE was not to become a tale of numerological adventure or a rewriting of sacred texts. It was to complement, not compete with, the rich heritage of Islamic scholarship. Cultural sensitivity and respect for the Quran's sanctity were as crucial as the theory itself. In the end, the Quranic theory of coherence was like a new chapter in an ancient book, one that promised to enrich the understanding of the divine message, provided it was read with humility, respect, and in harmony with the teachings of those who had walked this path before. Thus, the scholars continued their journey, weaving this new thread into the timeless tapestry of the Quran, ever mindful of the sacredness of their task. As the sun set over the scholarly world, casting long shadows over books and minds alike, the QToE began to find its place among the stars of Islamic thought. The scholars, now custodians of this new narrative, knew they were not just theorists but storytellers of the Quran's eternal message. They gathered in the hallowed halls of learning, where the air was thick with the scent of ink and the murmur of discussion. Here, they began to apply their theory, not just in the abstract, but in practical ways that would touch the lives of believers. The mapping of meanings. They created maps, not of lands, but of meanings, where each verse was a point of light connected by lines of understanding. These maps were not just for scholars, but for every soul seeking to comprehend the vastness of the Quranic discourse. Educational tools blossomed from these maps, interactive and engaging, designed to guide students through the labyrinth of verses with the ease of a well-known path. The digital age of understanding. In the realm of technology, they found allies. Digital analysis tools were developed, algorithms that could trace the connections between verses, showing how a command given in one surah echoed in another. These tools were like magnifying glasses, revealing patterns invisible to the naked eye. But they were always used in the light of traditional interpretations, ensuring the digital did not overshadow the divine. The cautionary tales. Yet with each step forward, they remembered the cautionary tales. They spoke of the dangers of losing sight of the Quran's essence amidst the numbers and connections. They reminded each other of the speculative nature of some aspects of their theory, ensuring that the digital route did not become the root of all interpretation. The scholarly dialogue. A dialogue ensued, rich and respectful, between the old and the new. Traditionalists and innovators sat at the same table. Their discussions a dance of ideas, where each step forward was measured against the steps already taken by centuries of scholarship. They debated, they learned, and sometimes they agreed to disagree, but always with the Quran's message at heart. The legacy of QToE. As years turned to decades, the QToE became less a theory and more a legacy. It was taught in madrasas and universities not as the sole method, but as one of many lenses through which to view the Quran's unity. This theory became a bridge, connecting the past with the future, the literal with the symbolic, the text with its timeless spirit. In this story, the scholars were not just the architects of a theory, but the guardians of a dialogue, a never-ending conversation about the divine word. They left behind not just a theory, but a method of engagement, a way for each generation to find new depths in the Quran, all while holding hands with those who had journeyed before them. And so the tale of the Quranic theory of coherence continues to be told, a story of unity, of understanding, and of the eternal quest to grasp the infinite wisdom of the Quran, always with reverence, always with humility. As the story of the Quranic theory of coherence extended into the future, it became a beacon for those navigating the sea of sacred texts. It was not merely a theory, but a journey, one that continued to evolve with each passing generation. The journey beyond borders. Scholars from different lands, speaking different tongues, began to incorporate the QToE into their understanding. The theory transcended linguistic barriers, with translations and interpretations of the Quran reflecting this new lens of coherence. In mosques from Morocco to Malaysia, the teachings of QToE found a voice, enriching the global tapestry of Islamic scholarship, the living classroom. In the living classrooms of the world, where students sat under the shade of knowledge, the QToE became a dynamic part of their education. Teachers wove stories from the Quran, connecting past revelations to present-day lessons, showing how every verse, every surah, was part of a continuing narrative. Students learned not just to recite, but to reflect, to see connections where once there were only words, the harmony of science and spirituality. A new generation of scholars emerged, those who saw no conflict between the scientific method and spiritual understanding. They began to use data analytics, machine learning, and other modern tools to further explore the connections outlined by QToE. However, they did so with a caveat, that these tools must serve the text, not define it. They sought to understand the Quran's coherence through the lens of science, yet always in the light of faith. The challenges of interpretation. With every new discovery, new challenges arose. The scholars faced questions of interpretation. How far could one stretch the connections without losing the essence of the message? There were debates, sometimes heated, about the role of numerology versus traditional exegesis. Yet these debates were seen not as disagreements, but as the sharpening of ideas, each discussion polishing the understanding of the text. The ethical application. The ethical implications of QToE were discussed in depth. If the Quran was so interconnected, how should one apply its teachings in daily life? How could the unity of the text inspire unity among people? This led to initiatives where the coherence of the Quran was mirrored in community projects, interfaith dialogues, and social justice movements, showing that the text's unity could be a blueprint for human unity. The legacy continues. As time marched on, the legacy of QToE was not confined to books or lectures, but lived in the hearts and actions of believers. It became a part of how Muslims saw themselves in relation to the Quran, not as passive readers, but as active participants in a divine conversation. The story of QToE thus turned into a legend whispered in the ears of new scholars, taught with passion in classrooms and lived out in the world. It was a reminder that the Quran was not just a book to be studied, but a universe to be explored, with every generation adding its own chapter to the ongoing saga of understanding. And so, the tale of the Quranic theory of coherence continued to unfold, a never-ending quest for knowledge, a testament to the enduring unity of the divine word, and an invitation to all to delve deeper into the ocean of divine wisdom, where every wave leads back to the shore of truth. With each passing year, the narrative of the Quranic theory of coherence grew richer, more intricate, like a tree whose roots delve deeper into the soil of wisdom, while its branches reach ever higher into the sky of understanding. The art of listening. The art of listening to the Quran transformed. Scholars and believers alike began to listen not just with their ears, but with their hearts, guided by the principles of QToE. They heard the echoes of one verse in another, understanding that the Quran speaks in layers, each verse a part of a symphony where every note contributes to the whole. This listening became a spiritual practice, an act of meditation, where the unity of the text mirrored the unity of the divine message in their lives. The Global Conference. A global conference was held, the unity of the Quran from theory to practice, where scholars from diverse backgrounds convened. Here, QToE was not only discussed but experienced. Interactive sessions allowed participants to weave their own interpretations, using the theory as a thread to connect disparate ideas into a holistic view of the Quran. This event was not just academic, it was a celebration of the Quran's unifying power, transcending sects, cultures, and interpretations. The digital scriptorium innovators created what they called the Digital Scriptorium, an online platform where the Quran could be studied through the lens of QToE. It was a place where anyone could trace thematic links, explore linguistic nuances, and understand the revelational context with just a few clicks, yet it was designed with safeguards, ensuring that the digital experience remained a gateway to, not a replacement for traditional study, the ethical dilemma. As the theory gained traction, ethical dilemmas came to the fore. How could one reconcile the intricate connections of QToE with the simplicity of faith? Could this theory lead to elitism in understanding, where only the educated could fully appreciate the Quran's depth? These questions spurred a movement towards inclusivity, where QToE was taught in a way that everyone could grasp its essence, not just its complexities. The Cultural Renaissance. A cultural renaissance followed, where artists, poets, and musicians drew inspiration from QToE. Paintings depicted the interconnectedness of verses, poetry explored the unity of themes, and music composed in various styles mirrored the harmony of the Quran's message. This was not just art for art's sake, but an expression of faith, showing how the Quran could speak through every medium of human creativity. The generational bridge QToE became a bridge between generations. The elderly, with their lifetime of study, shared their insights, while the young, with their fresh perspectives, brought new questions and interpretations. Together, they built a bridge of understanding where the wisdom of the past was not lost, but rather joined with the curiosity of the future, the eternal quest. Finally, the tale of QToE became a metaphor for the eternal quest of understanding the Quran. It was not about reaching a final destination, but about the journey itself, the quest for unity, for coherence, for a deeper connection with the divine. Each scholar, each believer was part of this ongoing journey, adding their narrative to the Quranic saga. Thus, the story of the Quranic theory of coherence lives on, not as a conclusion, but as an ever-evolving chapter in the human engagement with the divine word. A testament to the Quran's inexhaustible depth and an invitation to seek, to understand, and to be transformed by its unity. The novelty in the Quranic theory of coherence, QToE, the Quranic Theory of Coherence, QToE, introduces several novel aspects to traditional Quranic studies, blending ancient wisdom with modern methodologies. Here are the key areas where QToE brings fresh perspectives. 1. Interdisciplinary approach. Novelty. QToE merges traditional Islamic exegesis with contemporary fields like network theory, linguistics, and digital humanities. This interdisciplinary approach was less common in earlier scholarship, which often relied solely on theological and philological methods. Impact. It allows for a richer, multi-dimensional understanding of the Quran, appealing to both religious scholars and those with interests in science and technology. 1. Thematic mapping and connectivity. Novelty. The idea of mapping the Quran's themes through a network-like structure introduces the concept of degrees of connectivity, suggesting that any part of the Quran can be linked to any other within a few steps, akin to the small world phenomenon in social networks. Impact. This approach not only highlights the Quran's thematic unity, but also provides a practical tool for educational purposes, making the Quran's vast and sometimes seemingly disparate subjects more accessible. 1. Digital roots and numerology. Novelty. The use of digital roots to find symbolic significance in verses is a unique application of mathematics to Quranic study. While traditional scholars have noted numeric patterns, QToE introduces a systematic method to explore these. Impact. It opens a new avenue for Quranic analysis, but with the caveat that such interpretations must be balanced with traditional exegesis to avoid speculative numerology overshadowing the text's primary message. 1. Structural analysis. Novelty. QToE builds on but also expands the traditional views on the Quran's structural coherence by employing modern literary and structural analysis techniques like ring composition and symmetry to a broader extent. Impact. It offers new insights into the Quran's literary beauty and intended meanings, potentially enriching both scholarly and lay understanding of the text. 1. Educational and interactive tools. Novelty. The development of digital platforms, educational software, and interactive tools based on QToE principles represents a novel way to engage with the Quran, especially for younger generations accustomed to digital learning. Impact. These tools can democratize Quranic education, making complex concepts more relatable and fostering a deeper, more personal connection with the text. 1. Ethical and cultural engagement. Novelty. By framing the coherence theory within ethical and cultural contexts, QToE encourages a holistic application of the Quran's teachings in modern life, promoting unity and understanding across diverse Islamic communities. Impact. It inspires new forms of art, literature, and community initiatives that reflect the Quran's universal and unifying messages in contemporary settings. 1. Community and scholarly dialogue. Novelty. QToE fosters a dialogue that includes not just scholars but also lay people, creating a participatory model of Quranic study where everyone can contribute to the understanding of the text's unity. Impact. This inclusivity can lead to a more dynamic and adaptive Islamic scholarship, reflecting the Quran's message in the lives of Muslims around the world. In essence, the novelty of QToE lies in its attempt to synthesize classical interpretations with modern analytical tools, offering new ways to perceive, study, and live the Quranic teachings. However, this novelty must always be approached with respect to the sacredness of the text and the rich traditions of Islamic scholarship. Expectation versus outcome for the Quranic Theory of Coherence, QToE expectations. Enhanced understanding of unity. Expectation. QToE would provide a clearer, more comprehensive view of how the Quran's various parts interconnect, leading to a deeper appreciation of its unity. Bridging traditional and modern scholarship. Expectation. It would serve as a bridge integrating classical exegesis with modern scientific approaches, making Quranic study more accessible to a diverse audience. New educational tools. Expectation. The development of interactive and digital tools would revolutionize Quranic education, particularly for digital natives. Broader scholarly engagement. Expectation. QToE would encourage a wider range of scholars and believers to engage in Quranic studies, fostering a more inclusive Islamic scholarship. Cultural and artistic expression. Expectation. It would inspire new forms of art, literature, and cultural expressions that reflect the Quran's coherent message. Ethical application, expectation. There would be an increase in ethical initiatives inspired by the Quran's unified teachings, impacting social justice, interfaith dialogue, and community cohesion. Outcomes, enhanced understanding of unity, outcome. While QToE has indeed helped some to see the Quran's unity in new ways, the complexity of the theory might also overwhelm those without a strong foundational knowledge, potentially creating a gap between scholars and laypeople. Bridging traditional and modern scholarship, outcome. It has partially succeeded by sparking interest among those who might not have engaged with traditional methods. However, there's also been resistance from conservative scholars wary of altering established interpretive methods. New educational tools, outcome. There's been a surge in digital platforms and tools, but their adoption has varied. Some find them transformative, while others feel they might detract from the personal and spiritual aspects of traditional learning. Broader scholarly engagement, outcome. QToE has indeed broadened engagement, but it has also led to debates about the limits of interpretation, with some fearing it might lead to elitism or over-intellectualization of faith. Cultural and artistic expression, outcome. There has been an uptick in creative expressions inspired by QToE, though the impact on mainstream culture varies by region and community, with some embracing it while others remain cautious. Ethical application, outcome. While QToE has inspired some ethical movements, the translation of theoretical coherence into practical everyday ethics is uneven. The theory's influence on societal action is still developing, often facing the challenge of translating complex ideas into actionable change. Summary: positive outcomes. QToE has undeniably enriched the scholarly landscape by introducing novel ways to understand the Quran's coherence, fostering interdisciplinary study, and inspiring new educational tools and cultural expressions. Challenges and adjustments. The theory has not met all expectations uniformly. There's been a learning curve in balancing innovation with tradition, ensuring that the spiritual essence of the Quran is not lost in analytical pursuits, and making sure that these new approaches are accessible to all levels of learners. Long-term impact. The long-term success of QToE will depend on how well it can be integrated into the broader practice of Islamic scholarship, how it evolves with feedback from diverse communities, and whether it can truly bridge the gap between different interpretations of faith and science. The journey is ongoing, with outcomes continuing to unfold as scholars, educators, and believers navigate this new path in Quranic understanding. The Quran, a divine revelation, speaks to our hearts and minds. It is a source of guidance, wisdom, and solace for millions around the world. Each word, each verse carries a profound significance that transcends time and space. Its message is timeless, yet intricately woven together. The beauty of its calligraphy and the depth of its meanings captivate the soul. The Quran's eloquence and literary excellence are unmatched, drawing readers into a journey of reflection and understanding. The Quranic Theory of Coherence, or QToE, guides us to appreciate this beautiful tapestry. It is a framework that helps us see the interconnectedness of the Quran's verses and chapters. Scholars have dedicated their lives to studying this coherence, uncovering layers of meaning that enrich our comprehension. It helps us understand how different parts of the Quran connect, revealing a deeper meaning. By exploring these connections, we gain insights into the divine wisdom that permeates the text. The QToE allows us to see the Quran not just as a collection of isolated verses, but as a cohesive whole. Imagine the Quran as a magnificent palace. This palace is not just grand in its appearance, but also in its structure and design. Each part of the palace is meticulously crafted, with every room holding its own unique beauty and purpose. Each verse, each chapter, is a room filled with treasures. These treasures are the wisdom, guidance, and knowledge that the Quran offers. As we explore these rooms, we uncover the richness of the Quran's teachings and the depth of its messages. QToE is like a map, showing us how each room connects to the others. This map helps us navigate the palace, understanding how the different parts relate to one another. It guides us through the intricate design, revealing the harmony and unity of the Quran. It reveals the palace's grand design, its breathtaking unity. The more we study the Quran, the more we appreciate its coherence and the divine wisdom behind it. This understanding enhances our spiritual journey, bringing us closer to the essence of the Quran. This understanding deepens our connection with the Quran. It transforms our reading into a profound experience where we not only read the words, but also feel their impact on our hearts and minds. The Quran becomes a living guide, illuminating our path in life. We begin to see the intricate relationships between verses, chapters, and themes. These relationships reveal the Quran's comprehensive guidance on various aspects of life, from personal conduct to social justice. The QToE helps us appreciate the Quran's holistic approach to human existence. This journey of discovery brings us closer to the divine message. It is a journey that transforms our understanding, enriches our faith, and deepens our connection with the Creator. As we continue to explore the Quran, we uncover the boundless wisdom and mercy that it offers, guiding us towards a life of purpose and fulfillment. Artificial intelligence offers powerful tools for exploring the Quran's depths. By combining AI with QToE, we embark on a fascinating journey of understanding. We begin by carefully crafting prompts, our questions for the AI. These prompts must be infused with the principles of QToE. For example, if we're studying the concept of mercy, our prompt should guide the AI to analyze how this theme unfolds across different chapters and verses. Think of it like preparing for a grand expedition. We wouldn't venture into uncharted territory without a map and compass. Similarly, our AI-powered exploration requires precise prompts grounded in QToE. This ensures our journey is focused and insightful. The Quran challenges us to reflect on its miraculous nature, its ijaz. This includes its linguistic beauty, its scientific wonders, and its profound impact on humanity. We can use AI to analyze articles or research papers that explore these aspects of ijaz. Imagine these articles as precious gems scattered across a vast landscape. AI acts as our guide, helping us locate and unearth these gems of knowledge. By feeding these articles to AI, we empower it to analyze the arguments and evidence presented. This process helps us deepen our understanding of ijaz. We begin to appreciate the multifaceted nature of the Quran's miraculous nature. Section 4. Asking the right questions, guiding AI with precision. To unlock the full potential of AI, we must ask the right questions. These questions should be specific, focused, and aligned with QToE principles. For instance, we might ask, how does this article demonstrate the Quran's unique literary style? Or what evidence does it present for the Quran's scientific accuracy? Think of AI as a powerful searchlight. Our questions act as the beam, directing its focus to specific areas of interest. By carefully crafting our questions, we guide the AI to uncover hidden connections and patterns within the Quran. This focused approach ensures that our analysis remains relevant and insightful, leading us to a deeper understanding of the text. Section 5. Deciphering the Divine Code, Interpreting AI's Insights. In this section, we delve into the fascinating intersection of artificial intelligence and Islamic scholarship. The aim is to understand how AI can assist us in interpreting the profound messages of the Quran. AI provides valuable data and analysis, but it's crucial to remember that it's a tool. It can process vast amounts of information quickly, identify patterns, and offer insights that might take humans much longer to uncover. However, the role of AI is not to replace human intellect or spiritual insight. We must interpret its output through the lens of our own understanding and the guidance of Islamic scholarship. This means that while AI can highlight certain aspects of the text, it is up to us to contextualize these findings within the rich tapestry of Islamic tradition and teachings. We should approach AI's findings with a critical and discerning mind, always cross-referencing with traditional interpretations. This involves a meticulous process of validation, ensuring that the insights provided by AI align with established scholarly work and do not contradict the core principles of our faith. Imagine AI as a translator, helping us decipher a complex code. Just as a translator converts one language to another, AI can convert raw data into meaningful insights. However, the nuances and subtleties of the original message must be carefully preserved and understood. While AI can provide a literal translation, we need to interpret the message's deeper meaning and context. This requires a deep understanding of the Quranic text, its historical background, and the various interpretations offered by scholars over the centuries. This involves considering the historical context, the nuances of the Arabic language, and the commentary of respected scholars. The Quran is a text rich with layers of meaning, and each verse can be understood in multiple ways depending on the context in which it is read. By combining AI's insights with our own knowledge and the guidance of tradition, we arrive at a more comprehensive understanding of the Quran's message. This synthesis allows us to appreciate the depth and breadth of the Quranic teachings, ensuring that our interpretations are both informed and faithful to the original text. In this way, AI becomes a valuable ally in our ongoing quest for knowledge and spiritual growth. Section 6. Bridging the gap, integrating AI with traditional exegesis. While AI offers exciting new avenues for exploration, it's essential to remember the value of traditional Quranic exegesis, or Tafsir. This ancient practice has been the cornerstone of Islamic scholarship for centuries, providing deep insights and interpretations that have guided generations of Muslims in understanding the Quran. Centuries of scholarship have provided us with a rich tapestry of interpretations and insights. These interpretations are not just academic exercises. They are the result of profound contemplation, spiritual insight, and rigorous scholarly effort. Each tafsir is a window into the historical, cultural, and linguistic context in which it was written, offering a multifaceted understanding of the Quranic text. We should view AI as a complement to, not a replacement for, this invaluable legacy. AI can assist scholars by providing tools that make research more efficient, such as quickly cross-referencing texts, identifying patterns, and even translating ancient languages. However, the human element of interpretation, the nuanced understanding that comes from years of study and spiritual reflection, remains irreplaceable. Imagine traditional tafsir as a vast library filled with wisdom. Each book, each manuscript, is a treasure trove of knowledge waiting to be explored. This library represents the collective intellectual and spiritual heritage of the Muslim world, a heritage that has been meticulously preserved and passed down through the ages. AI is like a new tool that helps us navigate this library more efficiently. It can sift through vast amounts of data in seconds, highlight connections and patterns that might take a human scholar years to uncover, and even suggest new avenues of inquiry. But it is important to remember that AI is a tool, not a scholar. It can assist in the process of discovery, but it cannot replace the depth of understanding that comes from human scholarship. It can highlight connections and patterns we might have missed, but it doesn't replace the books themselves. The primary texts, the original sources of tafsir, remain the foundation upon which all interpretations are built. AI can help us see these texts in new ways, but it cannot replace the texts themselves or the human effort required to understand them. By integrating AI's findings with traditional tafsir, we create a richer, more nuanced understanding of the Quran. This integration allows us to benefit from the best of both worlds, the deep, contextual knowledge of traditional scholarship and the innovative, data-driven insights of AI. Together, they can provide a more comprehensive and dynamic understanding of the Quranic text. We benefit from both the wisdom of the past and the possibilities of the future. By embracing both traditional exegesis and modern technology, we can continue to deepen our understanding of the Quran and ensure that its teachings remain relevant and accessible for generations to come. To Section 7. Sharing the wisdom educational applications of AI-powered insights. The insights gained from AI-powered Quranic analysis can be incorporated into engaging educational materials. Interactive platforms, visualizations, and even games can make learning about the Quran more accessible and enjoyable for people of all ages. Imagine a world where children can explore the stories of the prophets in virtual reality, or where students can use AI tools to analyze the Quran's linguistic beauty. By harnessing the power of technology, we can inspire a new generation of Quranic enthusiasts. These educational tools can help bridge the gap between traditional scholarship and modern learners, fostering a deeper connection with the Quran.